Hello, everyone. We are back with yet another episode of Expert Insights Live. Welcome to the session and welcome to you as well, Ben. Your first Expert Insights Live, I believe.
Yes, yeah, I'm very excited.
Great. So, anyone, if there is anyone live, if they can just comment and let us know so that we know that we're not just talking amongst each other. Just to confirm that you all can hear us, it would be great if you all can just let us know and then we can get started. Have you been, Ben?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, really looking forward to this one and see what kind of questions people come up with.
Great. I'm also keeping an eye on my phone just to check that there are other people or is it just us?
Is anybody
So
watching this?
yeah. In case they're not, that's fine. We'll just continue chatting away. So if people can just let us know if you all can hear us. Uh, if you can hear us, just let us know in the comment section that you can. And also let us know where you're joining us from today. So we can then just get started with the session. I'm just keeping an eye on my phone with the session.
Yes, we have you.
Perfect. So there is a confirmation, at least from one person on YouTube. Uh, thanks, Rajneesh. Uh, thanks, Sumaila. So there are a couple of people on YouTube who are watching us at least. Perfect. Let's begin the session. Thanks, guys. So Ben, why not just begin this with a brief introduction? Just tell us who you are.
Oh, yeah. Okay, who am I? Yeah, I'm from Ghana, right? Sounds cool.
That's not Ben, by the way. Ben is reading a comment.
Yeah, no,
Sumaila
yeah,
is
exactly. I'm from Ghana. Yeah, so I'm joining from London. And yeah, I've been in London now for 9 years. Since joining data science in the industry. Before I was working on different problems in neuroscience. I was working for some time on the olfactory system, so how mammals and vertebrates, how they smell. And yeah, then I joined the industry, worked in different domains. I worked in betting, in finance, on applicant tracking systems for recruitment purposes in companies. I worked on online retail in online travel agencies, one Love Holidays, and then now I'm in insurance. There, yeah, I like to, but yeah, I like to challenge myself. So I used to run when I came to London. I used to run a lot, like these mud runs and so on. Now I have my 5-year-old son. He just turned 5. We do taekwondo together. He likes to do these exercises. We do them together. Um, and yeah, what else can I say? I've written 3 books now. So this is my third, the generative AI with LangChain, and this is another way kind of for me to stay up to date and force myself to learn new things. Um, so yeah, and I'm really enjoying the feedback that I'm getting, and yeah, all the different things that I learn myself from these books.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Ben. Before we start with the session, I would just like to highlight there's a ticker going on at the bottom. There is a raffle. Two lucky winners would, at random, can get a chance to win Ben's latest book, Generative AI with LangChain. So just comment to be a part of the raffle. Just comment hashtag Packt as the ticker says over here. You can read this. So yeah, just comment hashtag Packt and we'll conduct a raffle somewhere towards the end of the session. We've got a lot of people who are joining us. The comments are coming in from YouTube. So we've got Samaila, who's from Ghana. Hi, Samaila. We've got Rajneesh, who's from India. We've got Robinson from Brazil. We've got Pat from Chile. We've got Ashwin Kumar from India. Hello, all. Welcome to the session. Uh, Perfect, Omar. Yeah, just exactly what Omar has done. That's exactly what you do. And yeah, just that's how you enter the raffle. So let's get started. If you have any queries, any of you, please feel free to post, comment it, and Ben will answer them for you live during the session. So while we are
I
waiting,
promise.
while we're waiting for people to comment and ask their queries, Ben, I'll get started with my queries. Uh, what are large language models, Ben? Why not just start with the basics?
Yeah, so I mean, everybody by now, and probably everybody on who's listening has some kind of has played around with them, of course. They are roughly speaking. I mean, everybody has some experience with these with these tools that help you improve your grammar, or like as put into a query into ChatGPT. So yeah, so they are uh, deep learning models, um, neural network models that are trained with the with words, roughly speaking. So you have lots of documents that the model is trained on. Basically, it's getting sequences of words that it's trained with. So always certain number of words in a sequence, tokens to be more precise, and then it's trying to predict the next one, and so that's roughly speaking how the model is trained, and then it's not just yeah just what's the next yeah, it's not just one layer, something that was very early. Word to vec, for example, was trained a lot. It's has many more layers. So today we speak of models, so that's why it's a large language model of yeah hundreds of layers or many layers with billions of parameters. Um, and yeah, so a large language model is anything that has more than 1 billion parameters. It's mostly how people use it.
Perfect. I think we have a first query by Ashwin Kumar, who introduced the concept of large language models. And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it from the paper from Google, Attention is All You Need, the first Transformers paper?
Yeah, I'm not sure if the there was the introduction of the transformer model, and it was
In
applied then
yeah,
to a
in that
language.
paper, yeah, in that paper, that was the first time I ever read large language models.
Okay, then probably you're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so yeah, Google did a lot of stuff for large language models, and then yeah, so it's definitely really the start of this whole revolution that we are seeing.
Yeah, it is quite a very old concept, large language models, from what I remember. But yeah, in the recent times when it started getting popular, I think that was the paper where I read it. But uh, it is a very old concept. Large language models. It's not a new concept. Uh,
Yeah, I mean the whole idea of language models and using deep learning and neural networks is yeah, probably dates back to the 90s, I guess. Then really where it became more useful was then with word to vec, was it 2012 or something. Then the transformer paper that you mentioned is I
mm,
think 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Or could no, probably I'm mistaken. 20 17. Yeah, I'm not good with sometimes with these dates. It's, I think I mentioned it in the book as well, where the history is discussed a bit.
yeah, you know what? Just for Ashwin's sake, like just to cover the history and get it right and get the facts right, I think I just quickly Googled it, and
Oh,
I
thank you.
think the idea was first floated in 1960s in an MIT
Okay.
research paper. So
But
yeah,
then probably not neural networks, right? Or was it neural
yeah,
networks already?
it was large language models. That's when the first chatbot was created,
Oh,
the
okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
world's first chatbot.
Okay, yeah. Mm.
So yeah, it's that old. I definitely remember that LLMs are a very old concept.
Mm.
It's
That's super exciting when you look up the history of these chatbots, these
yeah,
first yeah, rule-based chatbots and so on, and then becomes more and more yeah, model-based and more flexible, and then yeah, today we see yeah, much more so many parameters in them.
yeah. We have another query from Rajneesh. He inquires that what are the different areas where we can use LLMs currently.
Yeah, so yeah, this, I mean, it's very wide, of course. You can use LLMs for so many different things. Anything um, that humans can do, you can try what an LLM's response would be. I mean, you probably used an LLM to help you with some email response or something, and or to rephrase some idea that you had. So I think I find it sometimes really useful when I try to be more precise in my thinking, that I try to bounce back a bit the ideas I had, and then criticize the LM can criticize me. It's something very useful. Um, no, but there's some for industries. There's so many different areas. So in finance being used, in insurance, in in healthcare, in so many different areas. The For regulated industries, you have to be careful, of course, how you use them, and make really sure that the output is correct. Um,
Mm,
Many if you really want to productionize your model, it then you have to put in all the kind of safeguards. It's yeah, so there are so many different areas you can put it in. You can use your LLM. It's very useful in areas where you don't have structured data, especially, and where you don't have labels, so you can play around with what the LLM can give you back.
perfect. We have another query from Samaila. How can one start a career in LLMs?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I think if you play, I mean, how do you, if you're in data science already or you're not in data science, it's just always useful if you have some level of understanding um, and at least some experience already. So if you play around, you read a book, maybe my book or some other book, and you play around with some examples, and you have an idea of how LLMs work practically, what um, what possibilities you have, how you can get better responses, how you can productionize the models. These kind of ideas that people will probably ask in interviews. That then you have an advantage.
I think it's also about constantly upskilling yourself to be prepared for uh, generative AI is moving really fast to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Uh, so Ben, while we're waiting for more questions to come in, I do have a few queries myself. Uh, why is LangChain important?
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, you mentioned yourself that it's such a fast moving field. So many different streams to know about, or ideas to integrate, and that's really where LangChain comes in. So it's not enough to just know about one LLM. You want to try out different LLMs. You want to integrate the LLM with tools and orchestrate an ecosystem, really. That's where LangChain comes in. It helps you putting everything together, like the different prompts, different tools, different. You want to try a rack, you try a rack, and all those different things. So that's where LangChain can really help.
Perfect.
There's different other tools, of course, out there that can help you with that. And I've compared a bit. I think there's a comparison in chapter 2 of my book. So LangChain is the one that has is most popular and has a lot of development in there. And also comes, of course, with a downside. It's changed a lot, right? We talked about that. The LangChain, the library is updated every 2 weeks or something, and then you have to adapt to it. So yeah, that's also one thing that we try, of course, for the book, that we update. We try to update the GitHub repository, and try to make sure everything is working. But yeah, if you have any questions, of course, you try one of the examples, then raise an issue there on GitHub, and we try to figure it out as soon as possible.
Yeah, true. If any of you have bought the book already or are thinking of buying the book, uh, there are Discord links in the book. We have a community of over 5,800 members now. Uh, so yeah, if you have any queries about the book, don't feel that you have to figure it out yourself. Ben is around, he is available, and we are also around. Uh, we ensure that we get that the questions answered for you on the Discord community. So yeah, and in case you're facing any issues with the code on the GitHub repository, you can directly get raise an issue, and yeah, Ben will come around to it and resolve that for you as well. So yeah, thanks for that, Ben. There is another query that has come in. I think I missed one earlier. Let's take this. Rajneesh inquires, there's a lot of noise around that AI may take a lot of jobs. Can you please focus on this, please?
Yeah, it's super interesting question, of course. I mean, especially when this all started, I think in the beginning of last year there was and I was talking to different people, recruiters, and working with larger companies, and was yeah, Twitter had just released was it 80% of the workforce, and how is this going to continue? Data scientists or yeah, programmers, are they is this whole job useless now?
Mm,
Yeah, so I think the answer is no. I mean, you you can automate parts of the job, but it's very far from being useless. So people will still need junior developers, junior data scientists. People will still need very experienced people. It's very unclear where the industry is moving, and it will take a long time really to automate and yes, significantly, I guess, any part of it. So you see, for example, what I find very useful is the I think it's called, they call it efficiency on Copilot, I think, right, on the on GitHub,
yeah.
which is based on an OpenAI model, and I think they say they claim about 50% efficiency gain for people who use it. So so that should mean that they can that they yeah only use half the time now for their coding tasks. Is that yeah? But is that really all that the programmer does? In some companies maybe it is. In most companies I worked in, you need to think a lot about what you're doing. You need to really make sure that you're working on the right thing, that you talk to, that your task is really clear, that yeah you so it's only sometimes maybe 20% of your time is really just writing down things. So I think sometimes yeah, if you're not working in development, you think, oh yeah, people just type up the code, but it's only a very small part sometimes of the job. So it's unclear. So that's the answer. There are lots of things going on, and it's super cool really what is possible, but then it depends really on the companies what they want to, how they see it. Do they want to keep investing in AI and keep investing in their development, or do they want to have cost saving measures and see where they can get with that? So I think in the end, the most important thing really is these LLMs, they can give us a lot of efficiency gains. These efficiency gains will come in as GPT, as GDP gains. So the economy will grow, and
Yeah.
this can then grow into further jobs. So that's typically how these kind of breakthroughs and changes in industry work. So yeah, so I think it's a positive thing for people really.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, there is another question by Robinson on YouTube. I only use LangChain with ChatGPT with little text in a TXT file. How do I work with larger amounts of data, text data?
Yeah, so that was a big problem, especially with the early models, where you have very small context length that you can feed in. Now with Claude and other models, you can feed in whole books, so it's less of a problem perhaps. But yeah, there are a few methods how to that can help you increase the length of the input that you feed to these models.
Mm.
But also you can feed in smaller chunks. So that's a typical method. That's also discussed, I think, in chapter 3 or 4 of my book. So you basically chunk the book, you break it down into smaller pieces, and then you can work with each part separately. So if you want to summarize a book, same, you would summarize the different parts of the book first, and then you summarize the summaries. So that's typical use case.
Perfect. Thank you, Ben. Again, please feel free to add your queries within the comment section. If not, it gives me more time with Ben, and I'll keep on asking my questions. Uh, so
Yeah, people keep commenting here that they hear you for the first time. Are they just happy to hear, or they had some problems before? But, I
hearing
think
Mr. I think I know this
the
person.
English sound is
Tala is a part of our Discord community. So I think he is happy to. Well, I believe they're happy to hear me for the first
okay.
time. Yeah. I hope there aren't any technical issues. If there are, please do comment and let us know about it. Uh, okay. Yeah. So I was saying that let's continue with the momentum. And then I would really like for you to just inform us the industries and the examples that you cover in the book. Uh, if you want, I can probably just showcase the GitHub of your book.
Oh
That
yeah,
would
sure.
help.
That'd be cool, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
can
really
showcase.
try to cover a lot of different areas and discuss
Yeah.
where the most impact can be. There's a large discussion in the last chapter of the book as well, like the impact and the jobs and economy and different things like that, and some of the
Yeah.
dangers as well. But the practical examples, I think. So what I thought is a very high impact area is data
Mm,
science particularly, and in development. I thought this was also very interesting to the audience of the book. Um,
right.
so yeah, development, software development, and data science. But there are lots of
Right.
different
Yes,
examples
I
in
can
there.
see that. So if you can just tell us what are the different industries that you try to cover in the book and the different sort of examples, so at least it will help uh, the viewers understand and possibly people who will watch the recording later. It will help them understand that what we are doing in the book.
Yeah, I mean, for the book in particular is perhaps less about the industry. That's more a discussion, kind of where I think the impact will be biggest.
Mm,
More the particular practical applications. So yeah, writing good content and summarizing and so that's something that's it's useful across industries really, and then yeah, working on data science. How can as data scientist you can become more impactful, productive. So for example, what I found really cool was um, that you can yeah, these big language models, like very big language models, they know the ins and outs of the APIs of popular libraries. So
mm-hmm.
if you ask them to tweak parameters for plots and so on, so they can then help with that. They can't you can't really dig in and customize on top of other customizations, because they will just break down at some point. But you can really become much faster in yeah, doing things that you usually have to look up and search and maybe discuss in some forum or something. You can, yeah, you can just get the answer. That's really
Yes.
cool. And similar things really you can say for software development. For for software development, I try to set up yeah, some kind of feedback loop. I found this was a bit more difficult when you write some code, maybe you compile, you do some syntax validation, you get some feedback there, and you try to improve the code further and so on. So there are lots of things to try out there, and but yeah, that's maybe if you want feedback loop to really work well, you have to work on it. And yeah, so I show how you get set up and how you can use that. Um, but yeah, that's maybe a bigger message there for LLMs to really work well. You have to make sure all the edge cases work, and that's then so kind of the you can get some quick wins, but if you really want to have it work in production, you yeah you have to put some effort into it. So I think that of course affects also then how efficiencies can be generated. So for jobs, I think there's still a lot people can offer that LLMs will struggle.
Perfect. I'll just stop sharing my screen now and we'll come back here. There are a few more questions that have come in. Imanshu on YouTube inquires that ChatGPT, although a small part of AI, learns and improves itself at an incredibly fast rate. Will AI replace humans in the future?
Yeah, so I think that's really an interesting question. So the some people are even brought up that AI is a threat to humanity and so on. So that's really taking it to more of an extreme. I think since then people have really made their peace, I guess, with the new technology. I think it's more kind of working with technology. I mean, um, um, cars haven't. I mean, um, what's a good analogy? Perhaps the calculators haven't replaced humans. It's just
Accountants.
people have become much better in adding up numbers.
Yeah,
And similar to computers, people use computers so they can make much more accurate estimates of the of the weather. Say that's a big topic now, right? So all these models can get more sophisticated, and we can basically have much better understanding of the world, much better predictions, and yeah, do more things more quickly. And that's so it helps the economy, it helps humans. So it's rather than thinking like one or the other, it's just humans plus these LLMs or AIs. Yeah, it's a good combination. You have to know how to use them. They can't automate you yet. It will take a while.
there is another query by Rajneesh on YouTube. I'm into Java development. How can I take benefit from your book?
Yeah, so my book focuses on Python. There is, of course, a part about software development where you can maybe accelerate your Java development, or you can maybe um, try to get better at Java, or use some of these right helpers basically for yourself to become faster in development, or spot errors more quickly and things like that. Um, but yeah, so there are there in for Java. There are also different tools out there that are very similar then to LangChain and Python. There's LangChain for JavaScript. There's LangChain for Rust already. I'm sure there's something for Java as well that you can use. And of course the Python version being the kind of the dominant or the mainstream version, it would probably help you to work then with LangChain in Java.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Ben. We are almost at the halfway mark. Let's conduct our first raffle. And while we are doing that, if you all still have more queries, please add them to the comments and Ben will answer them for you. We can conduct our first raffle here. I can see that we've got 9 entries. Let me just share my screen so everyone is aware that I'm not randomly picking up a winner and we are collectively picking up who the winner is. So here is the raffle. Can you see that, Ben?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just click on draw and it will randomly pick up the winner. If you can see, my fingers are here. If I'm still visible, I'm not the one doing anything. It's just a raffle clicking. So Omar is our first winner. Congratulations, Omar. If you're still online and if you can see this, uh, please add me up on LinkedIn and share your full name and email ID so I can get the team to share the ebook of Ben's generative AI with LangChain with you. Congratulations, Omar. I'll stop sharing my screen for now and we'll continue with the session. We have another giveaway at the end of the session. So please don't go away anywhere. And yeah, please continue commenting hashtag packed and we'll do a second giveaway towards the end. There are a few more queries that have come in. Uh, Pat inquires on YouTube, could you talk about the chapter LLMs for data science a bit?
Yeah, so I thought a lot about how can these LMs help you for data science, and yeah, um, and there's a lot of overlap, of course, with software development. I mean, data science being also related to software development. So, but then, so yeah, so for software development, anything that can be said about software development can also be said then for data science. But then the particular areas that are more focused than for data science. So I mentioned the plots before, but there are a few more things that can be useful. So some tools have come out as well. So it's really cool. So these I think what's it called, the Jupyter extension with LLMs, where you can ask particular questions and in a chat interface, and they will when you get the code and you can directly try this out. So it's like a co-pilot for data science, and there are lots of yeah different questions that you can ask SQL databases. So there's in LangChain there's an agent, and a SQL agent, and there's a pandas agent where you can query data frames, so data sets and so on. That's quite cool. So you can ask questions like, what is if you have a data set for, let's say, GDP of different countries and so on, you can ask what's the country with the highest GDP and so on. And or let's say you have a query about what's and you have another column that's the population, and you can ask what's the country with the highest GDP per capita per person, and then it will calculate this automatically, or give you the do the calculation and give you the output. So that's really cool. And yeah, similar things, of course, you can do then if you with just the coding interface as well. If you have the Python interpreter, you can ask implement for me, please, a neural network model in PyTorch that will take the data that I have here and simulate something for me, and then you'll get the complete code. You get the output of the code, and yeah, you can generate an answer. I thought it was really cool. So just to give you kind of a structure for the code that you can use. So you should always use your own judgment, of course, to see if the code is meaningful and if it goes in the right direction.
Yeah, in the chapter large language models for data science, you covered quite a lot of ground. The generative AI impact on data science, then automating data science pipelines, code generation and tool utilization, large language models for data exploration, augmentation, not replacement. I can see all of that over here.
Yeah. Yes, it's been only 2 months or something, so I don't even remember anymore what exactly I wrote, but I know a lot of thoughts went into these chapters, and I have had lots of materials that in the end we cut out. Maybe at some point I put them for some blog posts or something. So yeah, definitely a lot of things that you can look into, and that can be useful for data science.
So we have another question. Oh, actually, before that, Rajneesh confirmed that, yeah, for Java they have LangChain 4J.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Somaila inquires, how can these LLMs be biased? Do you mean unbiased, probably? How can they be unbiased?
Yeah, I guess we can talk about how bias can come into the LLMs and how we can deal with that. Yeah, so I mean, we have a lot of biases. Obviously, as humans, there's so many different cognitive biases, and we express them in language. Sorry, too much coffee. Yeah. So how and of course that's relevant to any decision making. If we talk about making decisions for hiring for any regulated industry, definitely, then we need to make sure that we can take care of these biases. There are of course lots of different mechanisms. So maybe I should talk more about these biases. So one very famous bias in language that gets picked up by language models is this female versus male bias.
Mm.
So females are more associated with let's say with cooking. So women with cooking, and male with software engineering or something. So that's something, of course, that you don't want to use then for your hiring decisions. Let's say then there will be then a gender bias in there. So then you have to make sure you take that out for embeddings. There's certain ways to take them out directly. You can normalize these embeddings to take out completely to a large degree at least the gender bias. For text-based answers, there's certain ways as well to treat this bias. So there are constitutions that you can apply for this. And constitutions basically are ways to filter basically LLMs with prompts that would filter any answers that would come out of your LLMs. So basically, you can build up chains of different of LLMs, looking at the output of LLMs, and making sure that any bias is removed. Of course, there's a lot of there's some work involved and to make sure it's completely removed. But there are lots of different investigations, and people have looked at that, and it's an area of research, but lots of different tools out there.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that one. And I think Omar inquired, I'm sorry, I lost it. What should I do? Omar, I commented and I shared these steps. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. You can search me. This is my name, Tushar Gupta. You can just add Packt as a search, and I think I'll be the only profile that will come up with this search. You can add me up on LinkedIn, and when you add me up, please share your full name and email address. It will help me get the ebook processed and shared with you. Congratulations once again. Uh, okay. Oh, he's already seen it. Okay. Thanks so much for confirming. Okay. So Punso on YouTube inquires, I'm recently working on a project using NLP. How is LangChain related to NLP? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a little bit in the beginning, right? So there's so many different so much development basically recently, but also there was more development before that. So natural language processing, of course, hasn't been invented just with large language models. It has longer history. So there are more traditional tools where you try to analyze the sentence into the constituent parts, and then you can do entity recognition with these with more traditional tools, but you can also use large language models, and this of course generalizes. So how is LangChain related to NLP? So LangChain can help you do a lot of different tasks with LLMs, but also with other natural language processing tools. So generally speaking, then LangChain can help you do is one of the tools that you can use for NLP. But in particular, it's very useful for anything that's related to large language models and tooling related to large language models.
Yeah, and if you have a look at Ben's new book, it's filled with different use cases and examples, practical examples of how to put large language models, which is a subset of natural language processing, to use. Like you can practically put it to use and apply it in your daily life.
Chapter 3 has some examples, for example, with named entity recognition as well. So
yeah. Okay, Robinson on YouTube inquires, does LangChain use GPU processing?
Yeah, so that really depends on the library that you use for for the LLM. So there are so many different integrations. So if you check now, there are hundreds of different integrations of different
Mm,
libraries and different tools that you can use to do inference with LLMs. That's the main use case, of course, for LangChain. And some of them will use GPUs, some of them will not, and you have different parameters, of course, for this. So depending on your use case, you can yeah, you can choose the tool that supports GPU. So sometimes, of course, can be very useful if you want to have very fast inference. But then there are other tools as well that use CPUs, and they're optimized for very fast inference as well. So, for example, Llama CPP is one tool that's optimized for CPP inference. You can use it on your laptop with smaller models, and it will give you very fast responses as well.
okay. Uh, Ben, what are the major challenges when it comes to working with, uh, let's begin with LangChain. What are the biggest challenges when it comes to working with LangChain?
Yeah. So what I found, so writing the book, we had was it like 4 months or something of development, and the all the time it was changing. And breaking changes all the time. So it's the most popular tool to work with LLMs and tools and the whole ecosystem. And it
Mm,
helps you orchestrate. Has a lot of different tools for productionization, deployment, monitoring, and all these kind of whole integration there. So it's very useful. But but of course, working with so many different tools, you don't have control over the whole, let's say, vertical. The OpenAI changes interface, for example, it might not then work with LangChain directly on all versions. It's just very large ecosystem. So it's like
mm,
if you use a um, um, a um, a Mac computer, let's say, it only works with very small subset of hardware, but then you use different PC, it might not work. You might have to have difficulty installing all the drivers. So similar analogy, perhaps. Yeah. So the yeah, you have to make sure that yeah, that you look at the right version and of LangChain and so on. So I think the so I had to make a lot of changes then to update the book all the time. And I think if you yeah, the pace of Generative AI is just very high, so that it has the advantages of having all the integrations, but then the downside of making so many changes all the time. So, but yeah, so that's, I think, what we did for the book was then to pin a certain version of LangChain to make sure it works. Then, if you have any problems, please raise an issue, as we said. And then, if you really want to have then a newer version and so on, you can yeah, you can try to see how different it is then for the newer version. Of course, we will try to keep abreast of all these different changes in LangChain, but we can't make all the changes, of course, be always up to date.
right, yeah, that is exactly why you are keeping the GitHub repository active and up to date
Yeah.
every single week after week after week tirelessly. So yeah, thank you so much for that. Uh, I had more queries about challenges, but before I do that, I think I seem to know the answer for this one. So Pablo Torres on YouTube inquires, does your book cover LangChain agents? Could you please talk a little bit about it? Uh, should I answer the first bit?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
go
it
ahead.
does.
Yeah.
You can answer the second bit. The first bit is yes, it does in chapter 4. Ben, you can talk about it.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Yeah. So yeah, LangChain, of course, one of the most important parts about LangChain are the agents. So it's an agentic framework. It's what it's called, right? So yeah, the agents having a different parts that help you then with yeah, basically tool put together different tools, prompts, and the LLMs themselves, and yeah, make it all kind of orchestrate it all together, right? So yeah, there's a lot of talk about that, and how of course then LLMs can make decisions. Then, is the output right? Do I need to dig deeper? Do I need to change my prompt now? Do I need to do this? A lot of different different decision making options then in these agents. And so there's a discussion about that as well.
Perfect. So while while we're still waiting for more queries to come in, I have a query about challenges again. So we spoke about challenges for LangChain. Can you share some insights about challenges for large language models and how to overcome them?
So I mean, you have one particular challenge is, for example, the cost.
Mm,
And if you have hundreds of thousands of documents and you want one ChatGPT or the GPT-4, let's say, go through all of them, it's going to be very expensive.
yeah.
So then, of course, you can try a smaller LLM that you can run locally, or you can use Hugging Face or some other cloud service to run it somewhere else and more cheaply. Then so LangChain, of course, has a lot of different ways to track the costs. You can monitor all the calls and see if it's done efficiently, if it works, and so on. That's really useful. But yeah, so let's see. We go down this route, and you work with a smaller LLM. Then maybe the performance not so great. So how do you tweak the performance? So again, you have a lot of different a lot of leverage then to try to tweak the performance. There are a lot of different challenges to it, and a lot of different possible solutions then, and so it becomes bigger and bigger, and you need to know a bit about all of this. So that maybe coming back again to the answer, but how can you get into LLMs? You need to have an idea of these different approaches.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ben. It's our first question tonight. This has happened only for the first time that there are such less questions on LinkedIn. Vinetus on LinkedIn inquires, does your book have any chapter about how LangChain can be incorporated to big data platforms, such as Databricks?
There's nothing about Databricks really in the book, but different cloud providers are discussed. So like Vertex, Azure is a small paragraph. I had a lot of struggle setting up Azure in particular. But Databricks, of course, gives you an environment to run your Python notebooks or your Python code and so on. So all of that, what's discussed in the book, is really applicable then to Databricks. So basically you can install your LangChain or your different libraries that you want to use, and you hit your cloud provider, or you download a local model. All of that is possible on Databricks. So Databricks, of course, you have to know what kind of service you provision. You have to make sure your cluster or your server is big enough where you run your stuff on. So at the very least, I guess you need 3 gigabytes of RAM. The very least, I guess, for the very small quantized models. But then at the other end, if you want to use the Llama 2 70 gigabyte model or something, then you need at the very least 70 gigabytes of memory, if not probably much more. So that should give you an idea.
In the data science chapter, you do talk about data pipelines, and that's end to end from model to deployment. Uh, can those learnings be cross applied to different platforms like Databricks, for example?
Yes, of course. Yeah, all of that is for data pipelines as well. What do you mean in particular? Do you mean kind of the
No, I'm
monitoring?
saying to answer Vinitus's question that there is a chapter on data science, and in that chapter, you do cover data pipelines and how to work with them through LangChain. So I'm just confirming that if the learnings in that chapter can be applied by Vinitus and other people onto different platforms like Databricks, for example.
No, all of that is directly applicable there. So there's nothing really that's too specific, or Databricks really gives you a platform to run your Python code. So anything that's discussed in the book, you can directly apply.
Great. So when it is, do check out that chapter in the book. It's a chapter called LangChain for Data Science. You can have a look at that one. And there is another query from Ashwin Kumar. Does your book talks about hallucination and addressing it?
Yeah, so that's another big issue. Yeah, I could have mentioned that before as well. The I think hallucination is I mean, some people talk about it as a feature, some people talk about it as a as a big problem. I mean, you want, of course, your answers to be accurate. So if you talk to your customers and you expose your chatbot and it just makes up different products that don't exist, that's of course a
Mm,
problem. So that's why I guess many companies um, expose their chatbots more internally, and then you still have a customer agent, for example, to then talk directly to a customer. So you kind of make sure this doesn't really damage your reputation too much. But hallucination can be a big problem, of course. So and then how there are lots of different ways to address it. One way that the book is discussing is the self consistency. So you can basically ask the LLM or different LLMs the same question, and then you make sure the answer is consistent across these different responses. But then there are lots of other ways as well, and some of them are discussed in the book. It was
yeah.
actually quite interesting to look at all these different ways. So fact checking, for example, is still a big part of
Mm,
chapter 4 or 5. I'm not too sure which chapter. I can maybe we'll find it out, but it's in there. It was really interesting to figure out.
yeah. Fact checking is in chapter 4,
Okay,
and hallucinations are in chapter 5.
okay, yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashwin, for that query. I think we are almost drawing to an end. Uh, so before we end it, let's do the last raffle of the day. I'll just share my screen again and ta-da, we'll do the last raffle. You can have a drum roll going on for who the winner would be. Just let me know, Ben, when you can see the screen.
I can see it.
Perfect. So, yeah, Omar was our first winner of the day, and we are doing it again now. Let's see who wins. All the best, everyone. Antonio Carlos da Silva. Congratulations, Antonio. Uh, the same thing that I told Omar earlier. If you can just find me on LinkedIn, Tushar Gupta plus Packt, and if you can just add me up, please share your full name. Well, I've got your full name and your email address for me to send the ebook out. And congratulations once again. I'll just stop sharing my screen. So, yeah, Ben, if you can just share any closing notes for anyone, that would be great. And then we can end the session here.
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody for listening, for asking questions, for participating. I think it's such an interesting topic, like, and what's possible, what the impact could be, and so on. So I think unless you really think about it and play around with the technology, you won't really be feel that you can meaningfully take part in the conversation. So that's why I thought writing the book gave me a lot, and I think just really working through the examples can help anyone kind of feel more more knowledgeable about these topics and be up to date with technology, and maybe find a job in LMs, right?
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone, for being a part of the session, for joining us, for asking all the queries, and congratulations once again to Omar and Antonio. I'll wait for your message on LinkedIn, and yeah, we'll see you again very soon for the next episode of Expert Insights Live. Thank you.
Thank you very much.